Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to Terror Talk, where I discuss creepy clips online. Just to set up clear expectations, this is a commentary channel on scary stories and weird stuff. So, if commentaries are a thing, you're in the right place. The original horror music at the end of my videos was composed by me. Now, let's get into it and have some fun.
My friend Garrett is a little unhinged. And when I say a little, I mean a lot. He's one of those guys that goes around boasting about how crazy and aggressive he is, like it's cool or something. He's constantly getting into fights, doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut, and spends more time in the gym than anywhere else, including his own house.
Oh god, just hearing this kind of guy, makes me just want to punch a freaking wall, right? Because why would you even be friends with someone like this? I don't get it. Like, it sounds like they're freaking obnoxious, right? Would you be friends with someone like that? Let me know in the comments below. And do you have any scary experiences you got yourself into because of a friend like this? Also, let me know because, yeah, for me, this kind of guy I would definitely not be friends with. Not in a million freaking years.
There are actually 5 stories about him I could choose to tell, but the scariest one by far is the one you're about to hear. It also directly involves me, and I feel much more comfortable telling my own story rather than someone else's. This happened a couple of weeks ago, which was also coincidentally the last day of senior year, May 2019. The graduation ceremony wasn't scheduled for a few days, so even though we were done, we still had to stick around. It's tradition for all the graduating seniors to get plastered on the last day of classes, so that's exactly what we did. There's this huge clock tower in the center of campus where all the seniors convene to get drunk, which is exactly where we were at 10 p.m. It was packed. There were over 1,000 people crammed into that one courtyard. It was bittersweet, for me at least, but I think everyone was relieved at having finished finals, which are pretty tough at my school. There are a handful of other senior traditions I could tell you about, but I'm going to try to keep things succinct. There were 6 of us. It was me, C, T, R, N, and obviously Garrett. I don't think the rest of my friends would be comfortable with their names out there, so I'm just calling them by their initials. I should also really quickly mention that we lived off campus, meaning we had to walk through the city to get home. There are a decent amount of homeless people in that city, so it's not rare to encounter some of them late at night. Anyway, we were heading back home from the clock tower when Garrett did some Garrett stuff. Well, it wasn't really his fault, but that's neither here nor there. As we were crossing the street, some random homeless guy ran up to our group and started tweaking. Usually, the homeless people around here keep to themselves since they're all tripping on drugs and didn't notice their own surroundings. But this guy clearly wanted to engage. He was just standing in the middle of the crosswalk, yelling things at us like he was a bridge troll protecting the other side of the street. We laughed a little and started walking in a wide semicircle around him, as we didn't want to piss him off or antagonize him. Well, everyone but Garrett, that is. Instead of disengaging, Garrett started yelling things back at the guy, telling him to get the F out of the street and to stop harassing strangers. The tweaker didn't like that and took a few aggressive steps toward him. That's when the rest of us jumped in to prevent an altercation from happening. We must have intimidated the tweaker because he stopped charging and went back to just yelling things. I pulled Garrett out of the street, trying to get him to behave, but he pushed my hand away. Before any of us could do anything, he charged full speed at the tweaker and screamed, "I'm crazy." The tweaker started running away, which caused Garrett to stop charging and start laughing. I know it's bad, but the scene was genuinely funny, as messed up as it was.
Yeah, this is exactly why I would never be friends with an asshole like this. Like, what a complete and utter asshole. Like, freaking seriously? And would you be friends with someone like this? Because all they do is they get themselves in trouble and they get the people around them in trouble. Like, I don't want that kind of trouble. Like, screw off, asshole. Like, God, what an asshole this Garrett guy is. I know I keep saying that word, but guys like this just really piss me off because people this obnoxious, I don't know. There's just something way off about them, and, like, they can just, stay clear away. So, that's my vent.
It was like running full speed into a flock of birds and watching them scatter. We started walking towards our house after that, but after a few minutes, We realized the tweaker was following us. When he caught us looking back at him, he started yelling things about how we had made a big mistake and how he was going to, quote, call a niche, whatever that meant. We started heckling the guy back, hoping he'd get scared and leave. But I'm pretty sure we only intensified whatever tantrum he was having. Look, I'm not proud of everything that happened that night, but we were about to graduate from a very prestigious university and had been celebrating all night with alcohol, so we weren't in the right headspace to properly evaluate the situation. About a block away from our house, we realized the guy was still following, albeit a little further back now. I told the rest of the guys I didn't feel comfortable leading him to our house, and the other guys agreed. So naturally, Garrett took off toward the homeless guy before the group could come to a consensus. He again started sprinting at the guy, who once again fled in the opposite direction. Garrett turned and jogged back towards us, and we all jogged up the street. We thought that was it. We made it back to our house, pretty confident we hadn't been followed that time. I'm not even going to go into what we did back at the house. Let's just say it was a level of degeneracy I won't be approaching anytime soon. I can't even tell you what time it was. I was stumbling out of the front door to pick up my DoorDash when I noticed something odd. The side gate that led into our backyard was wide open. It was especially weird because we used this little strand of twine to keep it shut, so the door being open meant that someone had deliberately undone it. I instantly made the connection. It was probably that guy from earlier. I had enough sense to connect the dots, but I guess I didn't have enough sense to react accordingly. The smart thing would have been to alert my friends, but my drunken self decided to investigate. I put the DoorDash on the porch and went around the house, trying my best to walk straight. I turned the corner into the backyard, and before I could even see, I felt a rope around my throat. I flailed around wildly, but it was no use. Someone was strangling me from behind, and there was nothing I could do about it.
How terrifying would it be knowing that some guy from earlier who's clearly mentally unhinged would try to kill you? Like, that is pretty crazy, huh? And I don't know, it's like situations like this that these asshole Garrett type people get you into, it's just not cool. And honestly, if I was someone like Garrett's friend after this experience, I would ditch them as a friend. It's like, dude, you need to grow the fuck up, you little bitch. And I know I'm swearing a little bit more in this video, like I try not to, but this is just really angering me. So yeah, just this type of friend is really not a good type of friend to have.
I felt the rope's frayed ends digging into my throat as he tightened it with all his strength. I genuinely thought I was going to die. With all my might, I swung my legs backward, and he lost his footing. The two of us hit the ground, and I could breathe again, but he was still on top of me. In a fit of rage, he clawed at my face, and I could feel blood streaming down my cheeks. I threw him off of me, and he got to his feet before running out of sight. I'll try and keep things short from here on out. I ended up having to go to the hospital that night. The cuts weren't bad, but I needed a bunch of shots to protect me against any kind of diseases the guy might have had. The police were less than helpful, and since I was moving out a week later, there wasn't much I could do either. The worst part about the whole thing was that I had visible cuts in all my grad photos. Garrett felt so bad he ended up taking me to Nobu, but I never held anything against him. I just hope he's learned his lesson about not antagonizing people who have nothing to lose.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have taken that nonchalant approach about, the consequences of Garrett's actions. They're like, oh, it's okay, I just hope that he learned his lesson. No, screw that. Like, I would be done with that friend after all that. I would be freaking done. And it's just ridiculous to me that he stayed with that guy, even after all that. And apparently there have been several other experiences too, so my 2 cents in this video, I know it was more of a little rant than anything, but guys like Garrett just really piss me off. Just stay away from guys like Garrett. They're not good friends, and they don't have your back. All they care about is their image and, the Mr. Macho guy look that, that clearly matters to them. So, yeah, those are my 2 cents, and I thought this was a good story. And I hope you enjoyed my commentary. Maybe a little bit more on the negative side this time, but hope you enjoyed it either way. I just need to get a point across that guys like Garrett are not good friends. And I hope you enjoyed the music also, and I will see you in the next video.